What's up everyone? My name is Alex Kouras. I'm a 25-year-old real estate agent here in Miami, and on my YouTube channel I talk a lot about self-haircuts, men's grooming, and different ways to help you guys save money and invest in yourselves. So in today's video I wanted to share with you guys how to get the Alex Kouras haircut and hairstyle. So whether that be you take my advice and cut your own hair, or you use my advice and go to the barbershop and tell your barber how to cut your hair. Pretty much starting from the no guard lever closed, and then I work my way using every single guard up my head. So no guard lever closed, and then the half guard, 1 guard, 1.5 guard, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, all the way up to my part line. As you guys may or may not know, I do use my thinning shears as well. Right in here I use my thinning shears. It's really just a personal preference, so sometimes I'll use my thinning shears, sometimes I'll use my number 5 or number 6 guard right by my part line and just flick out right in here. And so pretty much when it comes to the fade, I just give myself a mid fade, and I like to leave hair by my part line. And so another thing along with the fade is that you guys can see it kind of looks disconnected in a way. So there is some hair by my part line on both sides of my head, but then as you go towards the back of my head, you can see that it starts to blend in well from the length on top to the actual faded portion on the back of my head. And so what this typically allows is to have a very clean transition from the length on the front of your head, and then as it gradually shortens and goes towards the back of your head, everything has a seamless transition and blends in very well to the fade. So if you guys can see this, my hair in the front is roughly about 3 to 3.5 inches just below my eyes. It's honestly a little bit too long at this point, so I do need to cut it pretty soon. Typically this is the longest I'll let it go, and this is the longest that I usually like to have it. Anything longer than this, I start to lose some volume and it starts to look a little bit sloppy. So typically my hair length is right around 2 to 3.5 inches in the very front, and then I always make sure that my hair gradually gets shorter as it goes all the way to the back of my head. So typically, just to sum up the haircut portion, I like to do a mid fade and then blend everything in from the top to the back of my head. So just the top to the back of my head is being blended in. Everything on the sides is relatively disconnected with some hair by my part line, just to make everything look a little bit more smooth and blended. And so now when it comes to the haircut, I pretty much do a similar thing every single time. So I pretty much lift everything up and then over to one side of my head, and then pretty much leaving what looks like a distinct part line right by my part line right here, and then everything's combed over to the side. So I pretty much would think of it as like a side sweep, like a voluminous side sweep, where I push everything up and over to one side of my head, and then this side of my head looks a little bit disconnected. But then if you look at the actual haircut, everything seems to blend, especially on the left side and the back of my head, everything's somewhat blended. But then when you look at the right side of my head, it looks disconnected. It looks like there's a nice part line right here, and everything's, separated. So before I get into actually styling my hair, I wanted to let you guys know that recently I just posted a video on a trick that I use to style my hair every single morning. It takes like 30 seconds to do, and you don't need a blow dryer or any type of hairspray or any type of tools to get this hairstyle. So if you guys do want to check that out, I'll leave it linked in the card section above, and it should fit very nicely with this video. So typically when it comes to styling my hair, I like to stay away from gels and use more so waxes and clays, typically those that have a natural or a matte finish and have really high hold. So for today's video, I wanted to use Hans de Foucault's Claymation. Okay, I'm not sponsored by Hans de Foucault, I just recently bought this. And so because I've got a brand new product here, I'm gonna open it up, take it out, and it smells like absolutely nothing, which is what I really like about Hans de Foucault's Claymation. And so I'm just gonna take roughly a pea-sized amount, if I can get it. Something like this should be good. And then I put it into my other palm, emulsify it relatively nice. You want to heat it up, make sure it heats up. You don't want any clumps in your hair. My hands are on fire right now. And then I push everything straight down. Okay, you want to make sure you get the sides of your head as well. You want to get the back of your head. Push everything down. Don't be afraid to mess up your hair. It's not that big of a deal. That's why we're styling it. So everything all over your head. You want the product to seep in. Otherwise, the last thing you want is to have product on the top of your head and then the sides, the back of your head look a little bit empty. Maybe you have a shine product and you just put it on the top, but then the sides look very matte and dry. It's gonna look weird. So just make sure you coat all of your head and push everything straight down to start. And then go back in and grab a half pea size, so slightly less than what we just grabbed. And then emulsify that again. And then go up, push it straight up again, go all the way through the head. You can push it in the opposite direction if you want to get a little bit more volume. This is pretty much a good trick. If you want to get that volume, push it in the opposite direction that you want to style it. And then once you're done with that, go ahead, push it right back over to the other side, and you should be looking good with a lot of volume. Make sure you get the part line as well. And then just go over it a few times until it looks exactly like this. And so that's pretty much it, right? I've got the length on top 3 inches, and then it gradually gets shorter as we work our way towards the back of my head. I've got a mid fade where everything is from a 0 up to about a number 6 by the part line, and then it gradually blends in as we work our way towards the back of our head. So we go from 3 inches all the way down to the fade. Everything's blended in from the fade to the length on top in the very front, which is the longest section of our head. And then on the right side of my head, you can see everything is pushed down, slightly back. Okay, you have that disconnected look right in here. Everything looks disconnected on the right side, even though it's not. And then on the left side, you see everything's kind of blended in. And overall, it looks like a very nice haircut. So let me just give you guys a quick 360, a little bit more slow, a little bit more defined, so you can see everything a little bit better. Alright, so that's pretty much it, right? You got the mid fade, got the voluminous side sweep, you got the part right in here, you got everything blending in from the top to the back. Everything looks good. If you guys want to use some pictures, I'm pretty sure I have some decent pictures on my Instagram if you want to show your barber, or you can just bust out the YouTube video and be like, I want this type of haircut, and show them my video. You guys already know I'm very big on cutting your own hair and saving tons of money every single month, every single year by doing it myself, and I like to teach you guys how to do the exact same thing. But if you guys want to learn in more detail how to cut your own hair, you guys can check out my self-haircut course using the first link at the top of the description. But that's pretty much it. If you guys did like this video, make sure you leave a like and share this video with a friend. And if you're new to my channel, make sure you guys click on that subscribe button down below and click on the post notifications as well to never miss a new video. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace!